The cold emptiness of space stretched endlessly, a black sea speckled with distant, indifferent stars. Among them, the massive human colony ship Aurora's Pride drifted like a lonely sentinel. Its hull gleamed faintly in the starlight, but inside, tension buzzed stronger than any engine. The Council of United Worlds had tried to write humanity off as a weak, expendable species. They said humans were reckless, primitive, unfit for interstellar diplomacy. They planned to keep humans confined to the edge of explored space, far from any real opportunity or power. They were wrong. Captain Lena Voss, a veteran of countless skirmishes along the frontier, paced the bridge. Her fingers tapped the console in a rhythm she barely noticed. The crew around her worked in tense silence, eyes flicking between screens that displayed nothing but the endless black. Lena's jaw tightened every time the Council's directives popped up in her feed. Humanity is to be contained. No contact. No expansion. Status? She asked, her voice steady, but her mind raced. Lieutenant Harris glanced up from the sensor panel. All clear, Captain. No ships detected in the immediate sector. But there's something strange in the outer perimeter. Something moving fast. Hard to identify. Lena leaned closer, her eyes narrowing. Can we get a better read? Harris hesitated. Sensors can't lock onto it. It's almost cloaked. A low hum of unease settled over the bridge. Cloaking tech wasn't unheard of, but it was usually reserved for the most advanced warships. And no one had ever seen one moving this close to a human colony ship without a reason. Alert the crew, Lena ordered. Arm the defensive drones and prepare for possible engagement. And get me a full scan again. I want to know what's coming. As Harris tapped commands into his console, Lena's mind drifted for a moment. She thought of Earth, of the cities now distant and quiet under human control. The Council didn't see it, but humanity had survived worse. They had adapted, learned, evolved. And when cornered, humans fought harder than anyone expected. The first sign of danger came as a sudden blip on the sensor. A shadowy silhouette streaked past the outer rim of the ship. It was massive, larger than any patrol craft Lena had ever seen, moving with unnatural speed and precision. Report. Lena barked. I don't know, Captain. Not matching any known species or design. Energy readings are off the charts, Harris stammered. The crew exchanged nervous glances. Whispers ran through the bridge like static. What is that? Why here? Then, the unthinkable happened. A wave of invisible energy pulsed through space, hitting the Aurora's Pride shields with the force of a meteor strike. Lights flickered, alarms blared, and every console on the bridge screamed warnings. Shields holding at 70%, Harris shouted. But it's adapting. Lena clenched her fists. This was no ordinary ship. Whatever was out there, it wasn't playing by anyone's rules. She knew one thing. Humans never ran when the odds were impossible. They adapted. They fought. And if the Council thought they could contain humanity, they were about to learn the cost of that arrogance. Suddenly, a new image appeared on the main viewer. A massive creature, or perhaps a warship designed to look like one, emerged from the darkness. Its armor shimmered like liquid metal, and its eyes glowed a deadly green. It hovered silently, watching, calculating. Identify. Lena ordered. Impossible, Harris said, his voice tight. Sensors can't penetrate its hull. It's alien. Extremely advanced. And it's waiting. The tension on the bridge thickened. Every crew member knew the stories of Deathworlders, legendary warriors from the far reaches of the galaxy, creatures who thrived on planets no human could survive, hunters who never missed, fighters who couldn't be stopped. They're here, Lena whispered, more to herself than anyone else. The ship remained silent, waiting, as if testing the humans' resolve. Lena felt a shiver run down her spine. The Council had thought they could exclude humanity from the galaxy's future. They had thought humans were weak, replaceable. They had been wrong. The first shot came without warning, a bright, deadly beam slicing across the vacuum of space toward the Aurora's Pride. The shields flared, absorbing the hit, but the force pushed the ship off its course. Alarms screamed. Crew members scrambled, issuing commands, launching defensive drones, trying to anticipate the next strike. Lena gritted her teeth. She had faced impossible odds before, but this was different. This was a test not just of skill, but of will. Humanity's very existence was on the line. And if they were going to survive, they would have to do what humans always did. Fight back when no one expected them to. The ship shuddered under another attack. Lena took a deep breath, her eyes scanning the viewer. Those glowing green eyes were fixed on them, and she felt something primal stir inside her. Fear. Yes. But also defiance. The Deathworlders had come. And humanity was ready. The Aurora's Pride rocked under another pulse from the alien craft. Red warning lights painted the bridge in streaks of panic, but the crew moved with practiced urgency. Captain Lena Voss gritted her teeth, her mind calculating every possible move. This wasn't just a fight, it was a test of human resilience, and she refused to fail. Deploy the outer drones. Lena shouted. Target their shields and probe for weaknesses. The drones launched like swarms of metal bees, darting toward the alien vessel. Each shot of energy they fired struck the enemy hull, but it barely left a mark. Lena frowned. These were not ordinary weapons. Whatever the Deathworlders were, their technology was leagues beyond anything humans had faced before. Sensors are picking up fluctuations in their energy field, Harris reported. It's like the ship is alive, adapting to every attack. Lena's eyes narrowed. Alive or not, they'll find us weak if we panic. Focus on precision, not power. Hit where they hesitate. The alien ship made no sound, but its movements betrayed intent. It circled the Aurora's Pride, calculating every angle, studying every response. The crew could almost feel its gaze, cold and intelligent. Fear whispered at the edges of Lena's mind, but she pushed it down. Humanity had survived plagues, wars, and the cruelest corners of the galaxy. They would survive this too. Suddenly, a massive pulse of energy shot from the Deathworlder's ship, tearing through the vacuum with lethal force. The shields flickered, warning klaxons screaming. The impact threw the Aurora's Pride sideways, knocking crew members off their feet. Shields at 30%. Harris shouted, sweat streaking his face. We won't hold much longer. Lena slammed her fist against the console. Then we force them to adapt too. Activate the secondary plasma cannons. We need a full frontal strike on their left flank. The cannons roared to life, releasing streams of concentrated energy. For a moment, the alien vessel faltered, shimmering as its armor absorbed the hits. The crew cheered quietly, hope flickering in the darkest moments. But it wasn't enough. The Deathworlder's eyes glowed brighter. Without warning, it launched a volley of small, swift drones. They darted through space with deadly precision, cutting through the human defense like knives. Several of the Aurora's Pride's drones were obliterated instantly, leaving the crew scrambling. Divert power to the forward shields. Launch countermeasures. Lena barked. Her voice was steel, cutting through fear. As the bridge erupted in frantic activity, Lena noticed something strange. The alien ship didn't attack blindly. Its movements followed patterns, almost predictable if one watched closely. Her mind raced, connecting dots. Lieutenant Harris, she said quietly, almost to herself, they're learning from us. Every move we make, they adapt. But they won't adapt to something unpredictable. Something human. Harris frowned. Unpredictable. Yes, Lena said, her eyes lighting up. We fight in ways they won't expect. Humans are chaos in its purest form. Let's show them why no one ever truly corners humanity. Her plan was risky. It required splitting their remaining drones into decoys while the ship itself would perform maneuvers the enemy would never anticipate. Harris hesitated, knowing the gamble could cost lives. But Lena's gaze left no room for doubt. Do it, she ordered. Moments later, the Aurora's pride twisted and spun in ways that defied conventional tactics. Drones darted in unpredictable patterns, drawing the Deathworlders' attention. Energy pulses streaked past, some grazing the ship, others exploding harmlessly into space. The alien vessel faltered for a split second, its systems straining to track the chaotic assault. Now! Lena shouted. The crew fired all remaining plasma cannons in unison. Beams lanced through the void, striking the alien's left flank with precision and power. For the first time, the enemy ship reeled, sparks of energy dancing across its hull. The bridge erupted in cheers, but Lena didn't allow herself a smile. This was only the beginning. Whoever, or whatever, these Deathworlders were, they had come for a reason. And the Aurora's pride had just announced that humanity wouldn't go quietly. In the silence after the assault, Lena stared out at the looming figure of the alien ship. Its green eyes were fixed on them again, but this time there was something else, a flicker of recognition. Whatever lay ahead, one thing was clear: the game had changed. Humanity was no longer just defending. It was fighting back. And for the first time, Lena allowed herself to feel a small spark of hope. The Deathworlders had come to exclude humanity. But humanity had come to survive. The Aurora's pride drifted in the cold void, battered but alive. Smoke hissed from damaged conduits, and sparks danced across exposed panels, but the crew moved with a strange energy, fear tempered by determination. Captain Lena Voss stood at the bridge, her eyes fixed on the alien vessel hovering silently in the darkness. The green glow of its eyes pulsed rhythmically, almost as if it were studying them. The Deathworlders were patient hunters. They didn't strike recklessly. They watched, calculated, and waited for the right moment. Lena understood that now. And she also knew that waiting was a luxury humans could not afford. "We need to know what they want," she said, her voice low but commanding. "Sensors, any readings on their energy output or communication signals?" Lieutenant Harris worked furiously at the console. "Nothing normal, Captain. It's not sending anything we recognize. But there's a pattern. Almost like pulses, like it's trying to communicate, but not in words. More like signals or emotions." Lena frowned. Emotions in signals. That was impossible. Or maybe, just maybe, these were not ordinary machines. They were something alive, something intelligent. "Prepare the scout ship," Lena said suddenly. "I want to see this up close. Risky, I know, but we need information if we're going to survive." A hush fell over the bridge. Sending a single scout into the path of a Deathworlder was almost certain death. But the crew trusted Lena. They had to. She had led them this far. The small craft detached from the Aurora's pride, engines humming quietly. Lena watched it move toward the alien ship, her breath shallow. Every second stretched endlessly. The scout sensors scanned, sending data back in fragmented bursts. Then came the shocking revelation. The Deathworlder was not just a warrior, it was a vessel for a living species. Tiny, biomechanical creatures swarmed within its armor, controlling the ship like extensions of their own bodies. They were intelligent, connected, and terrifyingly fast in thought and movement. They're alive," Harris whispered. "Not just a ship, a species inside a ship." Lena's mind raced. Humans had fought machines before, and humans had fought aliens before, but never anything like this. The combination was deadly. And yet, the more she watched, the more she realized the creatures weren't just attacking, they were testing. "They're learning from us," Lena said aloud. "They're not just hunting. They want to know what humans are capable of." A sudden jolt shook the ship. The alien vessel had shifted, its massive form angling to block the scout. Red lights flashed across the bridge as another energy pulse struck. This time, the impact was closer, scraping along the hull. "Evasive maneuvers," Lena yelled. "Divert all power to the shields and launch the countermeasures." The crew moved like a single organism, responding to Lena's commands instantly. Explosions of light erupted in space as drones collided, shields flared, and the ship twisted unpredictably. Lena's mind was razor-sharp, anticipating the Deathworlders' moves before they happened. Amid the chaos, Lena saw something extraordinary. The alien vessel had paused its assault, hovering at a distance. Its green eyes seemed to narrow, almost thoughtfully. And then, it withdrew slightly, giving the humans breathing room. Harris stared at the console. "Captain, I don't understand. Why a stop?" Lena didn't answer immediately. Her gut told her what words could not. The Deathworlders respected strength. They understood cunning. They saw that humans were not easy prey. This was not a surrender. They were still deadly, but they were cautious now. "Prepare a transmission," Lena said slowly. "Simple, clear, and human. Not begging, not threatening. We show we're alive, capable, unpredictable." The crew worked quickly, crafting a single precise message. It was not a surrender. It was a declaration. Humans survive. Humans fight. Humans adapt. The transmission launched into the void, a beacon of defiance. Lena held her breath as the signal reached the alien ship. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, the Deathworlder tilted slightly, almost as if acknowledging the message. Its green glow pulsed in a new rhythm, faster, more intense, like a heartbeat. The bridge remained tense. Lena knew this was just the beginning. The Deathworlders were still dangerous, and the fight was far from over. But something had shifted. Humanity had earned a measure of respect in the eyes of one of the galaxy's deadliest hunters. Lena exhaled slowly. She turned to her crew, her voice steady, firm, filled with a quiet fire. "We're not out of danger," she said. "But they've seen us. They know what humans are. And as long as we breathe, as long as we fight, humanity survives." Outside, the alien ship lingered, its green eyes fixed on them. A silent promise hung in the vacuum of space. The war was not over, but the challenge had begun. And humanity had met it head-on. The Aurora's pride drifted in uneasy silence, the alien vessel still hovering at the edge of sensor range. The green glow of its eyes pulsed softly, like a predator assessing prey. Lena Voss knew better than to trust the pause. It was a trap, or at least a test. The Deathworlders didn't stop for curiosity. They stopped to strike when they knew exactly how. "Status report," Lena barked, pacing the bridge. Lieutenant Harris scanned the readouts. "Shields at 55%. Hull integrity stable, but we've lost several outer drones. The alien vessel hasn't attacked directly since our last transmission, yet." Lena's jaw tightened. "Yet" is the key word. They're watching, studying, waiting for a mistake. She turned to the tactical officer. "Prepare the ship for evasive maneuvers and offensive strikes. We're not hiding, we're testing them too." The crew nodded, adrenaline sharpening their focus. Humans had faced impossible odds before, and they thrived on ingenuity and unpredictability. Lena planned to use both. "Divert auxiliary power to the engines," she ordered. "We're going to make them chase us, but on our terms." The Aurora's pride lurched forward, weaving unpredictably through the void. The alien vessel followed, its movements smooth, almost effortless. Lena realized that conventional tactics wouldn't work. She needed to strike in ways the Deathworlders couldn't predict. "Launch the decoy drones," Lena commanded. "Make them think we're splitting our forces." Drones erupted from the ship, scattering in every direction. The alien vessel hesitated for the first time, scanning the swarm with precision. Lena held her breath as the Deathworlder recalculated its approach. "Now," she shouted. "Plasma volleys, aim for the joints in their armor." Streams of concentrated energy lanced across the void. Sparks flew off the alien hull as the plasma hit weak points the Deathworlder hadn't anticipated. For a moment, the massive vessel shuddered, its green eyes flaring brighter. Harris cheered quietly. "We actually got through." Lena didn't smile. This was just the beginning. The alien wasn't defeated, It was adapting again. But humans had a trick Deathworlders didn't expect: unpredictability combined with daring. "Prepare for boarding," Lena said, her voice calm but sharp. "If we can't destroy them, we'll find out what they're made of. We're not just surviving, we're learning." The bridge erupted in activity. Crew members checked equipment, powered up boarding pods, and ran final diagnostics. This was dangerous, almost suicidal, but Lena believed humanity could turn the tables if they acted smartly. "Captain," Harris said, eyes wide, "are you sure about this? We're outnumbered, outgunned, and they're alive in ways we don't understand." Lena met his gaze. "We're human. That's more than enough." The boarding pods detached, small but fast, cutting through space like silver needles. Lena watched through the viewport as the first pod approached the alien vessel. Its exterior shimmered with an almost organic texture, but it was built for war. As the pod made contact, a pulse of energy shot out, knocking it sideways. Lena's heart raced. "Hold steady. Engage magnetic clamps." The pod stabilized, attaching to the alien hull. Inside, a team of elite Marines moved with precision, weapons ready, scanning every shadow for threats. The alien ship responded immediately, defensive tendrils emerging from its hull, moving faster than the eye could follow. "Take the high ground." Lena's voice came through comms. "Target the central control nodes." The Marines fired, sparks flying as their weapons struck armor and tendrils, cutting through defenses. The alien creatures inside hissed and shifted, their biomechanical bodies writhing as they tried to repel the invaders. On the bridge of the Aurora's Pride, Lena watched with a mixture of pride and fear. Humanity had never faced anything like this, but they were holding their own. Every strike, every tactic, every move was unpredictable. And that unpredictability was their greatest weapon. The alien ship recoiled under the assault, energy pulsing wildly, as if in pain or rage. For the first time, it seemed vulnerable. "Captain," Harris whispered, "they're weakening. But I don't know how long this will last." Lena nodded. "Then we keep pushing. Humanity doesn't give up. Not ever." Outside, the void of space was alive with flashes of energy, sparks, and the chaotic dance of combat. The Aurora's Pride weaved through attacks, striking with precision, while the Deathworlders adapted, but always one step behind. Humanity had proven something vital. Survival wasn't about strength alone, it was about courage, cunning, and unpredictability. And in that moment, Lena knew one undeniable truth: the galaxy had underestimated humans. They had assumed weakness. They had assumed fear. They had assumed defeat. They were wrong. The war was far from over, but the first battle had been won, not by technology alone, but by the sheer will of humanity. The boarding pod shuddered violently as it clamped onto the alien ship's hull. Inside, Sergeant Rena Cole and her squad moved carefully, weapons raised, scanning every shadow. The interior was a surreal blend of organic and mechanical, a living network of corridors that pulsed faintly with green light. Every surface seemed alive, as if the ship itself was watching them. "Stay sharp," Rena whispered into her comms. "They're alive in ways we don't understand. One wrong move, and we're toast." The squad advanced cautiously, the hum of alien energy filling their ears. The ship's walls shifted subtly as if adjusting to their presence. Rena's heart pounded, but she forced herself to focus. Humans were adaptable. They thrived in danger. And right now, survival depended on brains, courage, and split-second decisions. Suddenly, a corridor ahead warped, and tendrils shot out like whips. The squad dived aside, narrowly avoiding the strike. Sparks and green energy erupted, sizzling against their armor. "Enemy contact!" Rena shouted. "Form defensive line." The tendrils retracted as quickly as they had appeared, almost as if testing them. Rena realized something chilling: the Deathworlders weren't mindless. They were learning. Every movement the humans made was analyzed, every tactic observed. The alien ship itself was alive and intelligent, responding in real time. "Keep moving," Rena ordered. Head for the central nodes. That's where we'll disable them, or at least cause a distraction for the Aurora's pride. The squad moved like shadows through the twisting corridors. Every step was calculated, every turn carefully observed. The green glow pulsed stronger as they approached the central chamber. There, a massive core throbbed with energy, tendrils connecting it to every part of the ship. The alien creatures seemed to draw strength from it, coordinating their defense. Rena clenched her fists. We hit that core and we cripple them, at least temporarily. Let's make it count. Plasma charges were set along the core's surface, the squad moving in perfect coordination. Just as the last charge clicked into place, the ship's defenses activated fully. Walls shifted, tendrils lashed, and the corridor became a deadly maze of green-lit death. Everyone, hold your ground. Rena shouted. Cover each other. The team fired their weapons, cutting tendrils, dodging energy pulses, and moving in a fluid, deadly rhythm. Every strike was precise, every dodge timed. They weren't just surviving, they were fighting like humans always did, creatively, unpredictably, and with a refusal to quit. The core pulsed violently as the plasma charges activated. Sparks flew, energy flared, and for a moment, it seemed as though the ship itself screamed. Then, the pulse subsided, and the green glow dimmed slightly. Rena exhaled sharply. It's weakened. Keep moving. But the alien ship was far from defeated. From every direction, new tendrils erupted, faster and deadlier than before. The squad was forced to retreat, firing back and dodging with everything they had. Back on the Aurora's Pride, Lena watched the sensor feed, her jaw tight. They're inside, she muttered. Our Marines are making progress, but the ship isn't giving up. We need them to survive. Harris frowned at the readings. Captain, the aliens' energy output is spiking. They're focusing everything on stopping our boarding team. If the core goes, it could destabilize entirely, but if they die, so could our Marines. Lena's mind raced. We'll synchronize a strike from the outside. Aurora's Pride, full plasma volleys on the ship's flanks. That will distract them long enough for Rena's team to escape. The bridge exploded in activity. The crew focused, weapons charging, shields adjusting. Every second counted. Inside the alien vessel, Rena and her squad fought desperately, setting charges along the core, cutting tendrils, and dodging lethal energy strikes. The pulse of the ship was chaotic now, responding to the humans in ways it hadn't before. Almost there. Rena yelled. Everyone, push forward. Outside, the Aurora's Pride unleashed its plasma volleys. Brilliant beams of energy struck the alien ship, forcing it to react, diverting some of its defenses from the boarding team. The squad used the moment to activate the charges. A brilliant surge of energy exploded through the core. The ship shook violently, tendrils flailing wildly. Rena and her team stumbled, clinging to walls, but the damage was done. The Deathworlder vessel faltered, its green glow flickering erratically. Fall back to the pods. Rena shouted. The squad sprinted through the corridors, dodging debris and failing defenses. The alien ship's once perfect corridors became unstable, a chaotic maze of shifting walls and sparks. They reached the pods just as the ship lurched violently, barely escaping the collapsing hull. The pods fired away, rocketing back to the Aurora's Pride. On the bridge, Lena let out a breath she didn't know she'd been holding. The Marines were safe. The alien ship was damaged, still deadly, but no longer invincible. Lena met Harris's eyes. They underestimated humans, she said quietly. They learned the hard way, never corner a species that refuses to die. Outside, the green glow of the Deathworlder vessel pulsed weakly in the void. The first wave had ended, but the war was far from over. Humanity had survived again, but the galaxy's deadliest hunters were still out there, learning, waiting, and now respecting what humans could do. The Aurora's Pride drifted cautiously near the damaged alien vessel, the void around them eerily quiet. The green glow of the Deathworlder ship pulsed irregularly, weak but still alive. Captain Lena Voss stood on the bridge, scanning every readout, her mind racing. The last boarding mission had succeeded, but barely. The alien creatures had survived, their intelligence still sharp, their movements unpredictable. "They're repairing themselves," Harris said, his voice tight. "Energy readings are stabilizing. They're not done yet." Lena clenched her fists. "Then we finish this before they adapt again. Prepare the ship. Full tactical alert. Every weapon, every system, every drone, we're going all in." The crew moved like a single organism. Red lights flashed, consoles beeped, and the hum of energy filled the bridge. Humanity was fighting against a species designed to be unstoppable, but they had one advantage: unpredictability. And Lena planned to exploit it fully. "Target the core again," she ordered. "This time, we hit it from multiple angles. Drones, plasma cannons, boarding teams, everything we've got." Harris nodded. "Coordinating fire now. We'll overload the core, but we'll need to split their attention. They're too intelligent to fall for a single attack." Lena's eyes narrowed. "Then we give them chaos." Minutes later, chaos descended. Drones launched in swarms, darting in unpredictable patterns. Plasma cannons fired volleys from every angle, forcing the alien vessel to react. The boarding teams moved in again, their pods weaving through the hull, entering through multiple points simultaneously. Inside the alien vessel, Rena Cole's squad advanced cautiously. The ship's corridors pulsed violently, defensive tendrils snapping in every direction. The creatures inside had learned from the previous assault, moving faster, striking harder. But the humans were smarter this time. They anticipated, adapted, and moved unpredictably. "Core's weakening again," Rena shouted into her comms. "We just need one synchronized strike." On the bridge, Lena's eyes were locked on the display. "Now. All units, strike simultaneously." A brilliant storm of energy erupted. Plasma volleys collided with the alien hull, drones swarmed and attacked from every angle, and boarding teams detonated charges at the core. The vessel shuddered violently, sparks and green energy exploding in a chaotic storm. The alien creatures roared, a soundless, psychic scream that reverberated through the hull. The green glow of the ship flickered wildly, then dimmed. For the first time, the Deathworlders seemed vulnerable, struggling to maintain control. But just as victory seemed within reach, an unexpected twist occurred. The core pulsed violently, releasing a massive surge of energy outward. The Aurora's pride rocked under the force, shields flaring and warning klaxons screaming. "They're not defeated," Harris shouted. "They're retaliating." Lena's mind raced. The alien ship had learned too quickly. One wrong move and the humans could be destroyed in seconds. "Focus all fire on the core," Lena ordered. "We finish this now, or we risk losing everything." The crew obeyed, every system pushing beyond limits. The combined assault of humans, plasma, drones, boarding teams, was overwhelming. The alien ship writhed, tendrils thrashing wildly as the core finally began to fail. Inside, Rena's squad sprinted back to their pods, dodging collapsing corridors and exploding energy conduits. The ship's intelligence faltered under the relentless, unpredictable human assault. One final pulse from the core erupted outward, but this time, the coordinated defense of the boarding teams and the ship's plasma volleys absorbed most of the energy. The alien vessel convulsed, then stabilized briefly, only to collapse on itself moments later. The green glow faded, the ship's systems flickering and dying. Silence descended. The void around them was still, save for the battered Aurora's pride. On the bridge, Lena exhaled slowly, finally allowing herself a brief smile. Humanity had survived. Humanity had fought an impossible foe and emerged victorious, not through brute strength alone, but through courage, unpredictability, and ingenuity. Harris shook his head, still staring at the sensor readings. I didn't think we could do it. They were perfect predators. We should be dead." Lena met his gaze. "They underestimated humans. They always do. That's why we survive. That's why we fight. That's why humanity matters." Outside, the remnants of the alien ship drifted silently through the void, a grave reminder of a deadly species bested by determination and unpredictability. Humanity had faced extinction and come out stronger, smarter, and wiser. Lena turned to her crew, voice firm and proud. "This fight isn't over. We know there are more dangers out there. But today, we've proven one thing: humanity doesn't give up. Humanity adapts. And humanity survives." The stars stretched endlessly before them, indifferent yet beautiful. Somewhere out there, other threats waited. But for now, humanity had won its place in the galaxy. Not because of power, but because of the unbreakable human spirit. The war was far from over. The galaxy had learned a lesson it would never forget: never underestimate humanity. The void of space was quiet, almost peaceful, as the battered Aurora's Pride drifted above the remnants of the alien ship. Captain Lena Voss stood on the bridge, her gaze fixed on the glowing debris, the green light fading into nothingness. Humanity had survived an enemy that no one thought could be defeated. "Status report," Lena said, her voice steady but low. Lieutenant Harris shook his head, eyes wide. "Hull damage is extensive, but we're still operational. Life support is stable. Boarding teams are accounted for. The alien ship, it's completely disabled." A cheer went up across the bridge, but Lena remained focused. The victory was theirs, but the galaxy was vast, and danger still waited in the shadows. Inside the ship, Sergeant Rena Cole and her squad returned from the pods, battered but alive. The central core of the Deathworlder vessel had been destroyed, leaving only a lifeless shell drifting in space. "Sir, the core is gone," Rena reported. "The ship won't be moving again anytime soon." Lena nodded. "Good work, everyone. You've proven what humans can do when cornered. This is more than survival. It's a declaration. Humanity won't be ignored, underestimated, or excluded." Harris glanced at the sensors again. "Captain, there's something else. I'm picking up faint energy readings. Not hostile, but unusual. Almost like remnants of their consciousness. They're gone, but some part of them remains." Lena's eyes narrowed. "Alive or not, they've learned something. And so have we. Humanity fought against impossible odds and came out stronger. That's the difference. That's what makes us human." Outside, the debris of the alien ship floated silently, a reminder of the deadly encounter. The green glow was gone, but Lena knew the galaxy had noticed humanity's defiance. Somewhere out there, other species would think twice before underestimating humans again. She turned to her crew, her voice firm and inspiring. "We've survived. We've adapted. And we've proven that humanity is not a species to be excluded. The galaxy is ours to explore, to protect, and to claim." A murmur of agreement swept through the bridge. Pride, relief, and a renewed sense of purpose filled every heart. The humans aboard the Aurora's Pride were exhausted, battered, and scarred, but they were alive. And that meant everything. Suddenly, a sensor ping startled the bridge. A small, faint signal blinked on the console. Lena leaned in. "Identify it." Harris's eyes widened. "It's coming from deep space. Another vessel. Unknown origin. But it's approaching fast." The crew froze, tension snapping like a live wire. Lena smiled faintly, a mix of determination and thrill. "Then we prepare. Humanity doesn't back down. We survive. We fight. And we adapt. Whatever comes next, we're ready." The stars stretched endlessly before them, indifferent yet full of opportunity. Humanity had faced extinction and triumphed. They had defied the odds and declared their place in the galaxy. And now, a new chapter awaited, a chapter of exploration, of challenge, and of the unbreakable human spirit. Captain Lena Voss stood at the helm, her eyes bright. "Let them come," she said softly. "We are humanity. And we are unstoppable." The Aurora's Pride surged forward, cutting through the void, carrying humanity into the unknown, leaving behind the echoes of a battle that would be remembered across the stars. The galaxy had learned the hard way. Never underestimate humanity. And somewhere out there, the next challenge waited. But humanity would always be ready.